The Big 12 preview and picks edition for December 20th and December 21st edition of the College Experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting research platform for parlays, props, and game lines. Download that Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Code SGPN to get 50% off and start making your smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time tickets make the perfect holiday gift. Sign up at gametime.co and use that code CFBX for $20 off. Gametime.co, promo code CFBX. And welcome, everybody, to the Big 12 College Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Tuesday, December the 19th. We're almost there. We're almost at Christmas break. Last set of games before we break for a couple days. And next thing you know, we'll be talking Big 12 Gauntlet, the best fucking league in America, and the best sport in America, college basketball. But if you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. And joining me on the Big 12 College Experience today, first up, all the way on the right on your screen, he was born in Provo, Utah. He's got family in Ames, Iowa. He's a walking contradiction because he lives in Morgantown, West Virginia. And I'll actually see you tomorrow, brother. He is Rambling
Hell
Rush.
Yeah.
What's up, Rush?
Yeah, we're going to the West Virginia Radford game tomorrow. Should be a good time. The Ryan and Rush show, getting our
need to win.
press pass. Yeah, we need to win. I'm sure we'll get to that game in a bit. But I know everyone, I probably thought I disappeared. I was traveling the other day. I wasn't trying to hide from that BYU Utah pick, but hey, it happens. BYU basketball still looking good, so we'll figure it out.
Oh, it definitely happens. I ate shit. I went fucking 3-9 last night. Don't feel too bad. Don't worry. The haters, the fucking bitches had a good night. They got the best of me last night, but I'm coming back early and often. I won Hampton. I did not win Valpo. Valpo completely shit the bed the last 10 minutes. But third man in the box, you guys know him as the green growing, weed growing, Troy Tuning, a.k.a. the Big 12 guru. I completely just botched that, but it don't matter. Troy, what's up, man?
What's going on, guys? Radford, West Virginia sounds like a fucking party. I mean, that's a combination of fan bases that know how to get after it, if I've ever heard of it. I mean,
yeah.
Wow. You guys might be blasted. I mean, seriously blasted. Those guys can keep up, too. Like, they'll make a fool out of themselves in West Virginia, but they could make it, to at least the last 4 or 5 minutes before it starts to be fully exposed.
Yeah, we'll talk about the matchup here because Radford's a good team.
I was talking about their alcohol consumption, not the basketball team itself.
Oh, well, both are good. Radford's good at drinking and their basketball team's good. But let's recap the weekend real quick before we dive into the slate. Started off Saturday.
Baby.
The Big 12, I didn't even tally up what I went. The Big 12 kind of had an okay day. Kansas was able to come back, beat Indiana 75-71. The Baylor Bears got absolutely housed by the Baylor Bears. The Baylor Bears got absolutely housed by Sparty. I can't fucking talk.
They did beat themselves. That is right.
Yeah, they did. They were down. I can't talk because they were down 30 at fucking halftime. That was fucking embarrassing. Houston almost gave it away against Texas A&M. Oklahoma rolled Green Bay. BYU beat the shit out of Georgia State. Texas actually looked pretty good against LSU with Dylan DeSuback. Our Mountaineers did not have RaeQuan Battle, lose Jesse Edwards for a month now. They fall to Frank Martin and UMass. Dayton was able to go to Cincinnati, get it done. Texas Tech beat the shit out of Vandy, and TCU was able to pull away from Arizona State. Troy, I'll let you lead it off because we did the show together. Initial thoughts, shocking result, or what was your takeaway from Saturday?
So I was getting the extra TV all set up on our back porch because I was smoking ribs for our Christmas party on Saturday night, and I get everything all set up, and I know I'm a little bit behind, and by the time I get the Baylor game on, it's 28-9. So I just pulled the audible and didn't even watch the rest of the game after that. Pretty much over. Sheila said that they didn't really look like they were that motivated playing in the game. And I know you mentioned that it was almost a scheduled loss for them here in between this hyped MSG Duke game and whatnot.
Yeah.
I was still expecting them to put up a little fight, and man, it was almost embarrassing. If they didn't act so nonchalant about it, it almost would have been more embarrassing. Like, it's kind of cool that they played it like it didn't matter to them, but this is no longer a good spot for Duke. I don't see coming up. And then, BYU and Oklahoma are way better than people gave them credit for, even just 2 or 3 weeks ago. Those two teams are
they're rolling,
insanely efficient too.
Rush, I know you got some eyes on some games this weekend. Takeaways from the Big 12 as a whole. Overall, the only ones that lost were Baylor. I guess West Virginia and Cincinnati dropped games as well, but the other ones were able to hold the fort. And it's Big 12 by far the best league once again.
Oh, yeah, there's no question about it. The Big 12 will be fine in the grand scheme of things. I'm sure we'll get, in terms of rankings, jobbed a little bit when we all beat each other when it comes to Big 12 time, is like we do football-wise. One observation I have to make is Kansas State's in trouble. Like, obviously, West Virginia is in trouble, but we're dealing with completely other things that aren't in our control and just were dealt a bad situation that they try to finally figure out, and then something else happens. There is something in the water in Manhattan that is not good. And obviously we're trying to figure out more, and things kind of get out one way or another, but there's some serious problems in Manhattan.
Great call, Rush, because I just read off the Saturday games. I forgot to even read off Sunday's games. Quietly, Oklahoma State's actually played a little bit better recently. They beat Oral Roberts. Iowa State houses FAMU. They house everybody. That's terrible in Ames. But Rush mentioned it. K-State led at the half and completely got their ass beat by Nebraska's okay, but you should not be losing by 20 to Nebraska on your home floor.
No, not even in football, like either sport to Nebraska. Yeah. I know they're trying to figure out their stuff, but their Tang might be done.
Yeah,
there's something not right.
It's got the feeling of Jerome Tang's not going to make it through this, and it might not even be like him getting fired. He might just step away himself.
He might have to.
Well, something happened with that Tomlin situation.
Yeah,
that's the big red flag. Is somebody's hiding something? Something doesn't add up. It's kind of like what's it called? Jalen Daniels in Kansas. Something's not adding up, and I know technically Daniels is coming back, but not everything is roses and peaches over there in Manhattan like it was in year number 1. I did get a kick out of Fred Hoiberg in Nebraska mocking the Tang dance. I know K-State fans were fucking pissed about that, but Jerome Tang did dance on the middle of the floor last year when they beat Nebraska. So it was coming back to you, man. Like when you dance all the time and show emotion when you win in the other team's face, when you get your ass beat, it's coming back your way. People put that shit in the back of their mind. So I don't know. Let's do some tiers here real quick. In the bottom tier, before we'll work our way up to the top, and we'll do a group tier here. Bottom tier, I think we all still agree it's probably going to be UCF, Oklahoma State. You still have to put West Virginia in there. I know they have not had their team, but they still aren't going to have their team. So there's no what it is at this point. You're running out of excuses. And I think you got to put Kansas State now in that bottom tier. I don't see them up there with the other teams.
In comparison to the rest of the league, I think that's a pretty good argument to keep them down there. I mean, I know they're 8-3 and they're not, a super poor basketball team, but in comparison to this league, it looks like they might get some comeuppance this year against some of the higher teams.
Maybe it's just because they're trending in the complete wrong direction too. Like, I thought they were okay to start the year, but they have not gotten better at all over the last couple weeks. I know they were able to beat LSU, but they went to overtime with Oral Roberts and North Alabama before this.
Well, and it's one thing too, losing to Miami and USC, early in the season, you're figuring things out. So be it. The acceptable losses, they happen, right? You just, like you said, Ryan, you were up at halftime. And then just lost to Nebraska. You can't. And then you brought up the other overtime games they went to. the whole time something happened, obviously, and it's not looking good right now for Kansas State. I think you're right, Troy. Don't be surprised if Tang just walks away sometime in the middle of Big 12 play in January or February, especially if things don't get any better.
Agreed. Our next tier. So I think we got a nice clump here. I think we got Texas Tech. They're 8-2, but they really haven't beaten the best of the best yet. They're solid. They haven't hurt themselves to get in that large bid. And I think Cincinnati's done the same. They've done a good job of not hurting themselves. I know they lost to Dayton, but Dayton's a good team. TCU, I guess by default, because their schedule has been dog shit. Beat Georgetown at the buzzer. Should have lost to Clemson. Did lose to Clemson. I think you throw Texas in there. I don't trust this Texas team right now. And do we want to throw Iowa State in there?
Iowa State is just, it's kind of the same thing. They haven't hurt themselves. But
yeah, I agree with Iowa State.
If you play them in Ames, you're in for a dog. If you play them anywhere else and you're any kind of efficient, you should be able to put them away.
You never know when that Iowa State offense is just going to disappear. And by disappear, I don't mean for a game. I mean like consecutive games and people asking, where did it go? So I little controversial pick here too, Ryan. I know Oklahoma's outperforming what we've seen this year, but I think their game, and I know we'll talk about it, against UNC is going to be determined which tier they're in. If they win that game, tier 1. If they lose that game, tier 2.
It's fair. I actually was going to propose splitting the top tier because I think we got 2
1A, 1B.
Yeah, I think we do have a 1A and 1B.
Okay,
but would we consider? So the first tier is the 4 teams that are outside the NCAA tournament, clearly right now, that have a lot of work to do come Big 12 play. The next tier that we just talked about, Texas Tech, Cincinnati, TCU, Texas, and Iowa State, I would say is in the field as of right now. But they can't have a bad Big 12 play. They probably are going to get in with a 500 record in Big 12 play. Was that fair, Rush?
Yeah, I think that's fair for right now. Obviously, a lot that still needs to unfold.
I don't think there's really a problem with having 5 teams in the top tier in the Big 12. That's kind of normal.
Well, I just think there's 2 teams that are basically 1 seeds versus the other ones that I think are going to be 3, 4, 5
2 or
seeds.
3.
Houston's about to have a loss coming up here with how they've been playing.
Yeah, but they're still number 1 in the country.
Oh, yeah.
KenPom. Their resume is pretty damn good, and so is Kansas. So that's why I was saying Houston and Kansas. I think they're in the top tier. Kansas's 1 loss was to Marquette in Honolulu. Other than that, they beat Tennessee, they beat Kentucky, they beat UConn, they beat Missouri, they beat Indiana on the road. So, their resume is pretty good. Where do we put Baylor? Do we put Baylor with BYU and Oklahoma, or do we put Baylor with Kansas and Houston, or is it pending tomorrow?
If they win the game tomorrow, they're obviously putting their name back in the hat for the top seed. But after having such a stinker against Michigan State on a neutral site, winning at MSG against Duke would be good, but it doesn't completely erase the fact that they've shown us that they can completely not execute. Like Kansas didn't lose to Marquette by 24 points or something like that, where they just looked completely out of sync or something along those lines. And I don't think you're going to see that from Houston or anything like that.
No,
that's just not a loss that a typical 1 seed would have in a season. So I think just because of how you were kind of splitting it up with the other 2 being pretty much, they're going to be 1 seeds at the end of the year between Kansas and Houston, barring some crazy injury to any one of their important players. But even then, they could still be 1 seeds. I actually think out of Oklahoma, BYU, Baylor group, just this early in the season, Oklahoma's got the best shot here of solidifying themselves as one of the higher tiered part of the top tier.
So I think in terms of the Baylor situation is the benefit of being in the Big 12, right, is you have the opportunity to make games like that up. Yeah. Did they get killed? No, they did. It didn't look too great, but we all see it. A game like that could propel them into crushing Duke and maybe getting things right that they didn't think were right. It's not like Gonzaga losing to Michigan State and then they don't have really a chance to make it up in the the West Coast Conference, and that will be held against them. So yes, I agree with what you're saying, Troy and Ryan, with Baylor. You don't necessarily see losses like that from a 1 seed in the tournament, but it's a lot more redeemable in the Big 12 than it would be like if you're a Gonzaga.
My biggest issue with Baylor is kind of what happened last year. Is defensively, they're not the same as they were during those championship years with Mark Vidal, Davion Mitchell, and those guys. Those guys guarded. They went more small in the last couple of years with Jalen Bridges at the 4. Like Jalen Bridges is a good player, but he's not Mark Vidal in terms of defensively being able to guard multiple positions. He's more of a finesse guy, a skilled guy. So I think that's kind of been the biggest thing with Baylor over the last couple of years is going more to skill. Their guards are still fucking really good. I mean, they could score with anybody, but you look at them last year, they were outside the top 100 defensively. This year, they're ranked like 75th. That's not good enough for what needs to be had at Baylor to advance multiple games in March. While you look at Kansas on the defensive end, they're 5th. Houston's 1. Obviously, they're always going to be 1. And believe it or not, BYU is actually 7 and Oklahoma's 8. So just some things to note. Everybody in the Big 12 outside of Baylor's actually the second worst team according to KenPom defensively, which is a good way of measuring it with adjusted numbers. West Virginia is the worst, shockingly. When you think of West Virginia, think of defense, but not this year, and kind of speaks to the struggles. But yeah, I think that's been the biggest thing with Baylor. So,
well, they want to bomb up shots. Like Scott Drew wants to bomb up long range shots, but if you're not playing any kind of defense and getting extra possessions, and for some reason one game you're not as efficient as normal, you could have a blow up like what we just saw where everything goes wrong altogether. I was actually expecting Jaden Nunn to be a better defensive guard than what he's shown so far. And I think that kind of like you're going to get enough defensive hands in the passing lanes from dudes like Ray J. Dennis, but I was expecting Jaden Nunn to be almost kind of a lockdown on ball guy, and haven't really seen too much of it. Definitely not seeing the rotations at the speed that you were when they won the national title or the COVID year when the whole tournament got ruined. But the whole like making the other team make the extra pass right now against Baylor, you're getting an open look instead of somebody closing out on the guy faster than normal, which is kind of what they rest their head on. And without that, they're just a team that wants to run the weave and bomb up threes. They're like a house basketball team.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're gonna see it tomorrow night. They got a chance to redeem themselves. But let's pick some games. But before we do so, let's talk about Underdog Fantasy, because you can play alongside your favorite fantasy players all season long. NFL, NBA, NHL, college basketball, college football. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite players' fantasy stats and cash in. Troy, you got a Underdog play that you're looking at maybe to get down on tonight? Stay tuned tomorrow, everybody. I'm sure the Underdog lines will drop here in a couple hours for Duke, Baylor, and Carolina, Oklahoma.
We've got a pretty simple one tonight. It's just points. We're going higher in this the Marquette Providence game. We're going to take Tyler Kolek over 16.5. That should be pretty easy. And Bryce Hopkins from Providence over 8 or higher than 18 points. And then for the third kicker, we're going to throw Jameel Telfort in there. Butler's playing Georgetown. Higher than 17.5 points for Telfort. Those three get you 6-1, and Georgetown's not that great, so they should be giving up some points.
Yeah, no, I like that too. Let's take the higher on both
Kolek
and Hopkins. They played last year, hell of a game. And when you use the sign-up code, promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. All right, back on the Big 12 college experience. Let's go over to – actually, do you guys have a play tonight? Merrimack's going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's laying 18.5. Cincinnati's off the loss of Dayton. I took the points with Merrimack, but I don't have a big feel. I don't know. Troy, do you have a feel in this game?
I mean, I would lay it just after getting beat by an in-state team against Dayton. I would lay it here as a get right, get back game.
I'm a Troy. I agree. I'll lay
right.
the points as well.
So you guys are both laying the points here. That game tips here in 2.5 hours. We got day basketball in the Big 12, baby. Wofford's going to Oklahoma State. This line just got released. This is why we do this, so we can hit the opening numbers. Oklahoma State is laying 13.5. All of a sudden, they've actually kind of looked better over the last couple games, the Cowboys. Maybe it is against inferior competition, but they drilled Tulsa. They drilled Oral Roberts. I know those aren't the best opponents, but 20-point wins are 20-point wins. I kind of like Oklahoma State to keep the momentum going here. I'm going to lay it. I think Wofford's a big name that everybody is going to navigate to just based off of their track history, but Wofford's not the same Wofford. Give me the Cowboys to lay the number here. Troy?
Yeah, I would. Any other time that you would see Wofford going to Stillwater here in the middle of the day, you would think that they were a bit of a threat. And even at 13.5, I think it is kind of a sharp pick here. This could be a 15-point game or so. But Oklahoma State has been able to score the ball a little bit better. Playing at home in the middle of the day, they kind of get to dictate, their whole schedule and all that. So I'll go ahead and lay the points here with Oklahoma State. I don't think Wofford is the Wofford that you would immediately relate to the program name. Like you were saying, this isn't the same Terriers that could cause some issues in the first round of the NCAA tournament or something like that.
I'm with you guys. I'm going to lay the points for Oklahoma State. I think we're seeing the cycle of Oklahoma State, right? Slow start. Then you kind of start getting it figured out at the end of the non-con, and then you come alive a little bit in the Big 12, and then they're either the first four or next four out in March Madness, and then they're like, oh, we're playing our best basketball. Why are we out? Well, because you lose your bye games. That's why you're out, Oklahoma State. So, but hey, we're in that part of the cycle where they're heating up. I'll lay the points too.
Let's do it. So we're all on the Cowboys. Tomorrow night in Morgantown, West Virginia, we got a former Mountaineer great point guard, Darius Nichols, going to Morgantown. Mountaineers are laying 6.5 against Radford here. I am played a couple years ago. We were able to beat them down, but Radford's a different team. This is year 3 of the Darius Nichols era. Jesse Edwards out. I think RaeQuan Battle will be out. I'm going to lay it with the Mountaineers. I actually feel pretty good about this one. I know they ate shit for everybody on Saturday, but it kind of feels like Drexel from a couple weeks ago where everybody will be tempted to take the dog. And I think it's a good get-right spot back at home for the Mountaineers. I'll lay it with the Mountaineers. I think they win by 10. I think they blow it open late. Troy?
Yeah, I think if they weren't coming off a loss, I would take the points with Radford. But just as a home get-right after a loss, I think West Virginia might get this one done in that 8 to 10 point range.
I have serious concerns about this game. Obviously, Darius Nichols, old Bob Huggins coaching tree. Jesse Edwards being out for the next 4 weeks with his broken wrist. Ryan, you said RaeQuan's going to be out tomorrow too. Is he still sick?
No, he's back.
Oh, he is back. Okay,
yeah.
So we got the RaeQuan opener. So we'll see what kind of difference he makes. I'll tell you this, is if I think this line will get bet down. So if you want to go for Radford, I would take this right now. But I think West Virginia wins by 6. I think the hook is what gets him. I'm going to take Radford with the points. Hope I'm wrong. Hope it's a nice, comfortable game tomorrow, Ryan, with our press row passes, and we can just enjoy it and watch a good Mountaineer win. But every time I hope for that, we are. But every time that happens, it doesn't happen. So, hey, it would hopefully a cook can step up, and we'll see. So.
They're going to play small. They're definitely going to play faster with the new lineup. So we'll see. We'll see how both these teams adjust from a tempo standpoint. All right, let's get to the spotlight games. Let's go over to Madison Square Garden, where the Duke Blue Devils are laying 1 against the Baylor Bears. Everybody's going to bet Duke tomorrow, I bet you. Everybody's got that image in their mind of Baylor getting absolutely embarrassed in Detroit. This is not the same Duke team, man. This is not – I'll say right, Duke's overrated. Duke is not done anything. Their best win is Sparty. I know Baylor just got housed by them. But outside of when they step away from Cameron, they have not been a good basketball team for the most part. if they played Sparty tomorrow, I would take Sparty over them all day. I'm all over Baylor and a bounce back. I think Baylor embarrass Scott Drew will get his message across. This is lock. This is lock worthy. I'm all over the Baylor Bears who get it done against the Dukies tomorrow at MSG.
Yes, Scott Drew in a return from a big crushing loss in a pretty big game is already going to be a pretty good. One of the better coaches in the league. And I don't really believe in John Shire as the Duke coach. I think this would kind of be like if Baylor was playing Michigan State and they didn't have Izzo. And I think that game would have gone much differently, obviously. And because of that, at least give me the point. I mean, I don't really see Baylor laying 2 stickers in a row. This is going to at least be like a 1-possession game coming down to the end at worst. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Baylor win this one by, I don't know, 7.
Yeah.
This is the easiest pick. Lock it up with me too. Baylor +1. They're not gonna lose 2 in a row. Baylor's winning this game. Now, like we talked about, if Baylor beat Michigan State, then we're having a different conversation. But hey, that's reality. Baylor's winning in the Garden.
Well, and remember this exact scenario last year, guys, when Baylor got housed by Marquette. They lost by 30.
Mm-hmm.
Then they had to play Gonzaga on a neutral floor 3 days later. It was Gonzaga at the Pentagon. They grinded that thing out. They're going to do this. It's the exact same scenario. Baylor's a proud program. I think Duke is favored because their name's Duke. I think you get it now because I think Baylor will go off as a favorite by tip-off. All right, let's go over to the next game, and this game is in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Jordan Jumpman Classic. North Carolina taking on the Oklahoma Sooners. Right now, North Carolina is laying 2 against the Sooners. Man, this is a real good spot for Oklahoma to really prove if they are for real. Carolina's coming off a loss, so that's the only thing. They lost to Kentucky. They're coming off back-to-back losses. Connecticut, Kentucky, 3rd straight neutral site game. Games in Charlotte. I got to take Carolina, man. But if Oklahoma wins this game, they should be in the top 5. I mean, this is a road game that they're playing tomorrow. I think Carolina is going to get it done by 5-7.
Yeah, this is one of those games where everything points in Carolina's favor. So therefore, you got to zag. Give me the points with Oklahoma. I don't know. I'm just kind of banking on the fact that the Big 12 is going to have 4 or 5 really, really good teams. And I think Oklahoma is one of those. And for no other reason than the value is in the opposite of the percentages coming in. I mean, the public's going to be all over North Carolina, and it might be, it could even be a smash spot coming off of 2 straight losses. But give me the value in Oklahoma.
I am taking UNC, and I think UNC is going to win by at least 10 points. Obviously, what Ryan was saying, lost 2 in a row. They're going to come out firing. I think this is going to be the come to Jesus meeting for Oklahoma, similar to Baylor last game. You could lock it up for me too. I think UNC -2, easy play.
Yeah. All right, we'll do our official lock dog or lock and dogs. Don't tease college basketball, everybody. Stupidest sport to tease, man. Which how fucking much crazy variance there is. Real quick before we get over there, we got to talk about Game Time. Game Time's back better than ever. Buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be stressful. Fastest, easiest way to buy sports comedy in a theater near you with last-minute tickets guaranteed. Easy way to buy tickets in your area. Images of seats, lowest price guaranteed. Event cancellation, job protection. Game Time has everything you need covered. They will send you the seats where you're sitting, so you don't have that obstructed view, baby. So tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you know exactly where you're going. Rush, you love Game Time, don't you?
Love Game Time. Used it to see Troy a couple times at Nats Park or Capital One for some hockey games. Always have a great experience. Love that they show the tickets where you're going to be sitting beforehand and your view of it. I've been on Game Time since its inception. I don't even know how I came across it. I did, and 7-8 years later, I'm still using it. So excellent ticket site. Ticket app.
Yeah, it's the best. And get over there. It makes a perfect holiday gift. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Code CFBX, $20 off first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account. Redeem code CFBX, $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, props, game lines. Research all NFL, NBA, and soccer bets with historical data. Enter those parlays into the revolutionary parlay tool so you get each and every leg broken down to see which ones are hot and which ones are not. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft a more intelligent, data-driven parlay. Download the Hall of Fame Bets or visit hofbets.com, code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. All righty, we're back on the Big 12 College Experience. Shout out to the chat. I see a couple people talking about tonight's game, Western Carolina, Vanderbilt, Chad G. I am a little worried too. It kind of feels like Western Carolina will potentially be a public dog, but I'll still go with it. I gave it out last night, but definitely not one of my bigger plays tonight. But I'm gonna ride with it. I gave it out last night. I'll stick with you guys. Yeah, shout out to the chat. Chad G, Case and Hightower as well. Damn suits. Yeah, they fucking suck. Nathan, Cerna, always in the chat. Good dudes. Appreciate you guys hopping on. Even had a little dust up in the chat. Had to fucking cancel somebody. Get him out of here. He's always heckling Noah, that fucking one guy. Everybody knows who I'm talking about.
He clearly wasn't watching our back week 3 of football when we had that nice 33-1 parlay, but you know how it is, Ryan. They pick and choose which bets to hold you accountable for.
Yeah. No, get killed for Valpo. They won't talk about Hampton. Go check my record. And if you want to fade me when you're bankrupt, don't be crying to me. So, all right, let's move along to Thursday, December the 21st. UT Arlington's going to Lubbock. Looking ahead, we'll do a cumulative here with Texas Tech and UT Arlington. I think this line is probably with Bartorvik and Kempom projecting the lines. I'm going to say this thing is going to be around, we'll say 12.5. 12.5, 13, Texas Tech. Texas Tech's coming off a big win. I'll take the points with little brother here. I'll say Texas Tech wins by 10. You guys?
I mean, I'm going to lay it. It's in Lubbock.
It is an afternoon game, by the way. I forgot to mention that. It's like a 2:00 game or something.
Yeah, I think it's 2.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. Ryan, something told me too as well. 10. I'm gonna take the points with UT Arlington.
I like it. All right, so a little bit of different opinions there. Stay tuned to see what that line is. I mean, I'll project it at 12.5, 13, around that. So let's go out to Hawaii. It's hard to get to Hawaii because the TCU Horned Frogs are taking on Old Dominion. So finally TCU going away from Fort Worth here. Last couple times they have played out of Fort Worth, they've struggled. I'll say TCU is going to be laying 14 here. Give me the points. I don't know. Like TCU, I'm having trouble gauging this TCU team. They were losing to Arizona State in the second half, then completely blew the doors off them. I don't know. Where are you going here, Troy?
I mean, Jamie Dixon's a better coach. The fact that it's in Hawaii is, I mean, it's just going to be like an AAU tournament game. I think TCU has a pretty good, like it's hard to judge this team if they were playing a team that was better competition, but because it's Old Dominion, not any hate towards Old Dominion, just like I wouldn't know how to handicap TCU playing North Carolina, just because we haven't seen them play like a top team or anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and lay the points with TCU though. I trust Jamie. He'll have his shirt a little unbuttoned out there in Honolulu.
I'm going to go ODU as well. Watch out for a little upset alert on this one. I think with, holidays around the corner, that has a factor, all the way out in Hawaii. Just sometimes these teams, as you know, Ryan, the goal, just get a win out of this. Don't expose the whole playbook. Don't lose your mind. But for some reason, I think ODU is going to hang around in this game. So I'm definitely taking the points with ODU.
I like it. Let's say go to you. Next up, we got this one's awful. FAMU's going to UCF. UCF is laying, we'll say 20. Lay it. FAMU's god awful. Lay it. I'm laying it.
Yeah, the dirty NBA stadium in Orlando. Lay the points here. Congrats to Florida A&M though. Didn't they win their the HBCU
Celebration Bowl? Yeah. They beat Howard actually.
Rashard Mendenhall didn't like that was black on black, but you know.
Rashard Mendenhall's a fucking clown. Let's go over to a next one here. Texas State is playing Houston. We'll say Houston's laying 23.5. Texas State sucks. Houston is coming off the big win, but I mean Houston fucks these teams up at home. Lay it. Let's go. Yeah. Keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
This might be another system here. EIU is going to Ames, Iowa.
Don't even have to say anymore.
Iowa State fucking drills these teams at home. For a team that doesn't score, they've been housing these teams. We'll say Iowa State cumulative spreads laying 27.5. I'll probably still lay it.
Lay.
Yeah, I would not be afraid to lay 27.5 against Eastern Illinois in Ames. If this game was a block away, not in the same arena, but still like on campus at the rec center or something like that, no chance. But just because they're playing on their own home floor, this is a smash spot.
I agree. Let's go over to game
Hopefully
of the night.
Good one.
Game of the night on Thursday night. Wichita, K-State in Kansas City, Missouri. Cumulative K-State -4. I don't know. It is a buy low spot for K-State, but at the same time, Wichita's lost 2 out of 3 as well. I don't know, man. I kind of like Case. This is a battle of Baylor assistants, by the way. Mm-hmm. Tang versus Paul Mills. Give me Paul Mills. Give me Wichita. I think I'm going to take. I think this is the dog that I would look to back here on the card.
Yeah, I don't really have a ton of faith in Kansas State, especially having to lay points with them, but I'm still going to do it because I don't think Wichita State rebounds the ball that well. And the one thing that Kansas State has been able to do, even struggling between Kaluma and what's the guy, Ngasan or whatever, they both rebound the ball pretty well. So maybe a few extra possessions gets them to that 5 or 7 point range instead of just winning this by 2.
Bark. Dogs coming out for this game. This is easy. Wichita State's winning this game.
They might not even be a dog whenever the game goes off.
Well, that's another good point too.
Yeah.
Is this might be a pick 'em. It probably should be.
This is a Wednesday afternoon. If the line comes out as K-State -4, you take those points with Wichita State probably and watch it go down, and then maybe go for the double bet.
I think I agree. It's just I can't trust Kansas State right now, man. They've burned me a couple times, and Wichita too. I mean, it's not going to be a complete home game for K-State. So, I mean, this is going to be a true neutral site. So I'll take Wichita. We'll all take Wichita here and the points. So we'll see what the line comes out.
I'm laying it with K-State.
You are?
Yeah, I'm not. I've been 5-5, and the week before was like 4-4. So whatever I think, I'm just going to do the opposite. This is and
you'll still go 500.
I mean,
yeah,
it wouldn't shock me if K-State got right, but I don't know. I don't like what I'm seeing right there. This is
a Costanza week for me.
Yeah. I made Benedict by the end, but I mean, I definitely think if you're looking for a money line dog, Wichita is definitely a contender. So, all right, that'll do it. And then Friday night, we'll touch on those games later in the week. We got a couple good ones on Friday night, and then we have one on Saturday, and then we're off in the Big 12 until I think Thursday, December 28th is the next time we have a game. So it's coming fast and furious, guys, before we get to Saturday, January the 6th when Big 12 play starts. Oh, yeah. Can't wait for that.
Jack
Got
Del
some
Rio's
bowl games
favorite
coming
holiday.
up.
Yeah.
January.
It's going to be a dust up in the Big 12, baby. I mean, this
Dust up in the
fucking
Big
league.
12.
You know what's going to happen? West Virginia's going to go to
It's gonna
Houston.
be
and win.
Houston, yeah.
That's gonna be the ultimate, like, welcome to the Big 12, like the worst team, quote, beats the number one team in the country. And it's an ultimate welcome to the Big 12, Houston. So
Josh Eilert, dust up, man.
yeah, let's go.
go.
Dust up in Houston. All right, guys. Well, before we get up on out of here, Troy, tell everybody where to find you and what you got going on, man.
Did you want to do Lock Dog?
Oh shit, yeah, good point. Yeah, I'll lead off. Lock, Baylor Bears, sick 'em tomorrow night.
I think I'm the most confident in locking UCF just thumping Florida A&M.
Yeah, it's not a bad
And
one.
it's probably fair.
Just play it safe. The Costanza week.
I'm going to lock UNC -2. And let's have some fun. ODU.
That'll be a big one. I like that.
Yeah, let's have some fun. Christmas fun.
Sunday fun day, Christmas fun. Troy, where are you going for your dog? Let me see which one I want.
So I gave out a boring lock because for the dogs, we're going bark double dog parlay tomorrow night, Baylor and Oklahoma.
Okay.
I'll wear both. I'll wear both shirts. I'll wear my Oklahoma shirt.
I mean, it's Christmas. It's actually the perfect time.
Yeah,
to wear
green and
both.
red combo.
Yeah.
You know, if you're ever, this is a fun tip for everybody listening. If you're ever at a Mexican restaurant and you want both the red sauce and the green sauce and you order it Christmas style, they'll bring it out there like with half green and half red on there for you.
Christmas style.
Yeah.
Feliz Navidad style.
Feliz Navidad style.
I kind of laid the chalk. I kind of went with the Big 12 teams. I guess I'll go Wichita Thursday night. As
Radford. Oh, I thought you were going to do Radford.
No. Not happening. Not happening. We can't lose to Radford. We've lost to everybody else. So we need to get this one, get back to 5-6. So I'll go with Wichita in the battle of the Baylor assistants here. I think that's a ball game.
I also want to say, if for some reason Wichita State goes off as a favorite, by the time it tips, just throw K-State as a third dog for me too. 3 dogs.
Okay. I was tempted to go with Arlington, but I think Texas Tech will get it done. So, yeah. All right. Got any bets tonight, Troy? You like anybody in college hoops tonight?
I do think Cincinnati will cover that pretty easily coming off of a loss. And I do think Marquette beats Providence.
By more than 5?
I do think it will be by more than 5 too. I think you see Tyler Kolek have there's a chance he could win Player of the Year, and he's been hot. He's looking good. He would be against Rashad Mendenhall's team for the White Boys. White Boys Unite. Tyler Kolek forever.
Lock battle. I'm on Providence, man. I trust the dunk, man. You know me. I love to fade the top 10 top 10 teams going on the road. That shit hits at like a 70%, man. They can
have to hit the Shaka at the dunk.
He lost last year. It was a triple overtime thriller. I'm hoping for a similar game here tonight.
I'll go different sport. Give me Marshall, the other West Virginia team in football. The solo bowl game tonight.
Oh, yeah. I will not watch. I'm so sick of these bowl games. College
give
hoops
it
all day.
+8.
There you go. All right.
And coming off a back-to-back, Wild playing the Bruins. I would go with the Bruins on the puck line, but Joel Eriksson Ek to score for the Wild. Go ahead and parlay those.
There you go. Rush, you and I got Ryan and Rush here in an hour. Make sure you're subscribed over there. We're talking West Virginia basketball preview versus Radford, that game that we're talking about.
And football, dominating the transfer portal.
With the portal.
So watch out, Mountaineers. Get your Big 12 championship bets in now.
Oh, yeah. Let's go. Garrett Green. You guys can find me at Moneyline_Mac, Troy at Troy Tuning, Rush at Rambling Rush. It's right there on Twitter, on YouTube, / the College Experience.
And Twitter.
Man, I was stumbling all over my words today. I've been doing too many shows on this goddamn network. So
this guy's not even drunk yet.
No, I'm only on my second beer, so I'm pacing myself right now. That's why I'm stumbling. Too sober, too many waters. So we'll see you guys here in a couple hours on the College Experience. Like I said, Ryan Rush here in a little bit. Make sure you're subscribed to the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Yeah,
the
when you guys
are
are watching live, go ahead and click our thumbs up on YouTube. I mean, I know there's a couple of people in here asking if I'm drinking Guinness. The only way you know is if you're watching on YouTube. At least give us a thumbs up. We're trying to beat the other TCE programs so we can make fun of them. And then I can force Patty C to shotgun another double IPA.
Yep. Oh. And if you want to fade my picks like my man over here, Tom or whatever the fuck his name is, you're gonna go bankrupt. So good luck get through the holiday season with no fucking money. So that's it. That's it for me. Subscribe to the College Experience. See you guys in a couple hours, and we are out of here.